How I dealt with mental illness. My name's Laura Hart, and today I wanted to talk about mental health and mental illness. I've suffered quite badly with depression over the years, and I just wanted to share my story. And I wanted to do that because I'm hoping that that will help others. This is not about me being in a bad place now. I'm in a good place, and I wanted to show that when you're down at your lowest in life, that there's hope and there's help as well. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to tell you my story. I'm going to tell you how I got into the dark places and how I got out of them as well. First of all, I wanted to show you this. There's lots of help out there for people. So if you do need help, please contact somebody and tell them that you need help. You could contact the Samaritans, and this is the correct number at the time of doing this video. I have done a few videos in the past where I've sort of mentioned things to do with mental health and my sort of journey and the charity work that I've done. And I was asked if I'd do some more, so that's what this video is about. It's taken me a while to do this video. I've sort of built the courage up to do it, and I didn't want to come across as me as well. But I feel like I've got a story to tell, and I feel that story could help other people by me telling you, or by me sharing that story with you. So first of all, what I wanted to tell you is I wanted to give you like an overview, and then I will break it down and go into it in a bit more detail. So quite a lot of years ago now, my best mate, my best mate that I'd known all my life since I was 4 years old, he hung himself. He committed suicide, and I found him. Me and my brother actually found him. I had a key for his house. I went to his house. He was supposed to be coming to work with me that day, and I found him, and that's one thing. And then moving on from that, my daughter had cancer, and that went on for about 2 years, and then my daughter later died. And then shortly after that, or not too long after that, my dad died as well. So I had quite a lot of trauma in a short time. And what I want to do in this video really is explain how I felt and how it affected me, and what I did to overcome it. And at the end of it, you know, I won the Pride of Britain for my area. I were in the national awards, and believe it or not, I went to that Pride of Britain, and at the time it didn't really mean anything to me because I wasn't very well. Mentally, I wasn't well. I do look back now and feel proud of what I've achieved. My best friend was Sean. He was called Sean Wood, and after that, after Sean sadly took his life, I personally found it difficult to be friends with other people, and I've always tended to put a wall up, and I don't really let people get close to me. And I don't know, I just don't. And that's still the same today, really. I don't really let people get too close to me. Maybe it's because I don't want to get hurt again. I mean, Sean, that really did affect me quite a lot. And then we'll move on to Laura now. Laura was, she was my absolute world, absolute world. We wasn't gonna have children. Me and my wife, we wasn't going to have children, and then Laura sort of came out of the blue, and and as I say, she was just my world, my absolute world. And when Laura got to 16 months old, we had a few issues. Just before that, she kept on being a little bit, she were unwell, and we kept on taking her to doctors, and they didn't really answer the questions. They kept on saying she's got back pain, she's got this, etc. And this went on for a little while, and then we sort of decided we wanted a second opinion. So we took her to doctors out of hours, and out of hours were a different doctor at another out of hour place. And what happened with that was, she went in there, and then straight away we were told we had to go to hospital. Within a very short time of being in hospital, we was told that Laura had cancer, or a twisted intestine is what we were told, and she would have to have further tests and stuff like that. And I mean, that was, you can imagine the shock, the shock of that. And then going on from that, we spent the next 2 years in absolute totally, we went from having quite a lot of money, and we had, I won't go into that, but we were quite well off, and we went from that to, I didn't really work much for 2 years. I sort of give up work. I used to sleep at hospital most nights, and look after my daughter, and for quite a while she was in a coma, and she was like put into a coma because her tummy grew, and it grew like somebody who was pregnant, really big, and she had to have chemotherapy, and she had to have radiotherapy, and I think she had 17 lots of radiotherapy at Cookridge Hospital in Leeds, and then she had a lot of chemotherapy as well, and she also had a kidney removed, she had a spleen removed, she had quite a lot of surgery, and really, and what I'd say, as a kid, she was absolutely amazing. So when she were in a coma, I used to sit there, a lot of time you're by yourself, because people come and they spend all day there and stuff like that, but you spend a lot of time actually by yourself, and I was by myself with Laura quite a lot, and I used to be a really positive person, and I used to try and think that, we could be worse than this, because we could be somewhere where they don't have this help, and we don't have this. And what I used to do on a night, I used to sing to Laura. I used to keep trying to talk to her, and I used to alt Barney songs, and I love you, you know that, and I used to sing. And I did that while she were in a coma, and while she were, and then eventually she came back, and she got a bit better again. So there were a little bit of hope. My daughter was stage 4. She had a Wilms tumour, stage 4 Wilms tumour. So she kept on coming back. There were a bit of hope. We were obviously hoping that she was going to get better. Looking at it now, her chances were probably quite slim. But obviously, when your child is poorly, all you want to do is for your child to get better. And then after all that, after radiotherapy, after chemotherapy, etc., she got to a point where she wasn't going to get better, and she came home, and we put a bed in the living room, and me and my wife held her while she passed. So challenging, really challenging times. And then a few weeks after that, a really good friend of mine that worked at British Gas came to see me and says, do you want to come back to British Gas? And British Gas were really good to me. That I went back to British Gas. I went back as a service engineer for a little while, and then I moved on to sales side of business, and that were really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I got stuck into it, and I sort of like put my heart and soul into it. After about 2 years, so I were okay for about 2 years. Maybe about 18 months I were okay, and then my dad died. I don't know exact on dates now, but it sort of like that sort of time. My dad died, and then I was still okay a little bit, you know, and it went on a few more months, and I started having some issues at work with something basic with computer, and I'm dyslexic, and I struggle with, as people that follow my videos and stuff probably realise, that some words I say sometimes don't really make sense, or I might say it the wrong way around. Well, I'm dyslexic, but, you know, as with all in life, any of your disabilities that you've got to try and overcome them and do the best you can with what you've got. Yeah, so I'm dyslexic, and this computer problem, if I had the computer, I could do the job really well, but because the computers were faulty, it was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back for me. And I had probably had about 6 or 7 computers that kept on coming back faulty all the time, because British Gas was changing the computers, so we were using the old computers, and this will sound, you know, probably sounds so minimal to people, but it really did. It broke me, you know. That did break me, and I sort of had a I don't know if it were a nervous breakdown or what it was, but it meant that I ended up being off work, and I were on medication. I were on quite a lot of medication, and I used to want to just stay in bed. I didn't want to come out, didn't want to go out to the world. I just wanted to stay in bed, and this went on for a little while, and I'm not sure how long now, because the years just fly by. And I had in the past done some charity work, and I needed a reason to. I needed a reason, and I remember being in bed thinking that this is not my life. You know, you've achieved so much in your life, and you need to fight back. And I was in a really, really low place, the lowest place I've been in all my life, you know, and I needed to fight back. And I was on this medication, and I decided that I was going to stop the medication. And I'd never advise anybody to do that, and everybody's story is their story, you know, so I don't want to sort of downplay what anybody else is going through, but in my case, I decided that I was going to come off the medication, and I stopped the medication, and that had some quite bad side effects at the time. I had my arms and stuff kept on moving by themselves, and I was getting shakes, and parts of my body were moving. But that really, really scared me. It frightened me, because then I thought, well, if it has that effect on me, I cannot go back to having that. And as I say, this is only my experience. So, you know, if you follow your doctor's advice, obviously, you know, you wean yourself off, etc., and it may work for people. It didn't really work for me at the time. And then what I did was to focus. I needed something to focus on, so I started doing charity work. And what I thought to myself was, I wanted to donate. At this time, I wanted to donate my life to helping the charity. And what can I do? What could I do to do that? And I thought, well, I could go to candle lighters, and I could go there a few days a week, and I could help out, and I could go do whatever. And I thought to myself, well, that I can do more than that, because if I do my own job, I can earn quite a lot of money in my trade. So if I do my own job, and I'll just donate the money, and I could just do that in my own time when I'm well, because obviously it's not a light switch. You know, you don't go from being unwell to well. You've got to build yourself up to that. And so I just did bits and bits, and what I did was I just donated the money to candlelighters, and then I thought, well, what else can I do? So then I decided that I'd do some charity installs, and I bought boilers and I installed boilers, and then I donated the money to candlelighters. And then this went on a little bit more, and I contacted, and a little bit cheekily, or I felt cheeky, and I contacted a rep at Baxi, Paul Trotman, really, really lovely, nice guy. And I says to Paul, could you give me a boiler so I can do a charity install? So, no problem. So I asked him on, I think it was a Tuesday, and by Thursday I had a boiler. And I was like, wow, and that sort of turned it around. And then what I did was, I thought, well, I install ideal boilers as well. So I contacted City Plumbing, and I says, could I have a boiler? And this time I started to get a little bit cheekier now, and he went, yeah, no problem, we'll help you. So Ideal and City Plumbing teamed together, and then they gave me a boiler. And I thought, well, this is really good now. I'm starting to get some momentum, and I'm earning some money here. And then I started going on groups on Facebook, and somebody seen what I were doing, and they put a link on. And then other people then wanted to get involved. Now, I've been doing these charity installs for a lot of years, and I was quite shy at the time, and I didn't like to be on camera. And believe it or not, when I used to film, I used to just film my hands and stuff, because I wanted to help people, but I didn't want to be on the camera. And now I sort of don't care anymore, because when you know that people's gonna pick fault with everything you do in life, that's just what people do, and I am who I am, and if I can help people, I do, but I can only do so much, so yeah, going back to charity installs, we then did, prior to when I first started doing charity installs, we did John O'Groats to Land's End on a quad bike, and then after that we did Madrid. So we drove from Leeds Children's Hospital, and we drove to Madrid and back on a quad bike, and that were many years ago. But then now, more recently, I thought, well, I need to have some closure to what I'm doing. So I need to have some closure to the charity stuff, and to help me mentally. And I was still in a really bad place, I were a lot better than what I'd been, but I was still in a bad place. And we did Gas Chat Tour. So Gas Chat Tour, I messaged a few different people, and I says, look, I'm wanting to do the end of the journey, which would be Land's End to John O'Groats. And I'm thinking what I could do to do that. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll do installing boilers. So I spoke to Alan Carrick from Ariston Boilers, and they were absolutely amazing. And they offered to donate. Originally, they offered to donate, I think it was four boilers, and that's absolutely amazing, because I can start down at Land's End, and we can work our way up installing boilers, and it'll be really good, and we'll be able to earn a lot of money for charity. And then Ariston contacted me back, Alan Carrick, and says, what about if we'll just support you fully, what do we need to do? And Ariston donated, believe it or not, about 20 boilers in total. Ariston were absolutely amazing. There's also other people that's donated. So Valent sent me a boiler. Intergas Centre's free boilers, I believe. Raveney have given us boilers. Sime, however you pronounce it, they gave us a boiler. Baxi, we've had quite a lot of Baxi boilers. We've had Ideals supported a lot by donating boilers, and we've done really well. And that's my sort of journey, really. I don't really know what else to say, but all I can say is that for me, the mental health is, I found a reason to live, something to do that it wasn't for me, you know, and it wasn't for me. It was for me. It was for me. No, that's wrong. It was absolutely for me. It was for me to have a purpose and for me to sort of put a reasoning behind what happened. And I'm really sorry for this really long video, but you know what, anybody who's still watching this now, I hope that if you are suffering in your life, that you can watch this video and think, you know what, Alan's had some knocks, you know, he's really had some knocks, and I can get through this, you know, and I hope it could help you. All I can say is that me now personally, I mean, I do these videos, I get a few million views a month and a few million minutes watched a month, and people seem to like what I do. It helps people, and you know, I've sort of made I don't know, I've helped, and it's helped me, and I don't mind people knowing all the bad stuff about me or all the good stuff about me, because I am who I am, and I don't need to pretend. I don't need to pretend that I'm somebody I'm not, because I'm just me, and I'm just a normal guy who had some knocks, and I had to find a way to come back. And for me, I had to do it mentally myself. I was really, really lucky because my family have been amazing. My mum has always helped. My mum is a lovely person who really, really helps. And my wife, without my wife, probably I would have never got through this. And you know, my wife, somebody to talk about really, because I probably not supported her as much as I could have done, because she's always supported me. I'm quite an emotional person, and what I'd say is, you know, she's been absolutely amazing, you know, truly amazing. Yeah, if you've got any questions, please ask them below, and I'll try my best. I'm not going to do any more videos like this, but I just wanted to share my story, get it out there, and then it's done. And then let's get back to plumbing videos. I've got some quite interesting stuff that might be coming up soon. Also, I'm hoping to do Gas Check Tour again next year, but we'll see what happens. Be a little bit different next year, because I won't be as emotionally attached to it as I have been in the past. Yeah. Thanks for watching. And just a shout out to all the amazing people that helped me on my journey. Alan Carrick from Ariston is an absolute legend. Really helped. Also, lots and lots of other people. Too many people to name in this video, but again, thank you to all them people. One person especially that really helped me when I was unwell was Stuart Hullen. Absolute amazing guy. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody that's helped. And this story, this journey couldn't have happened without hundreds and hundreds of people that's actually supported me in that time, and all the donations, etc. My wife, my mum, But what I'd like to say is that anybody who is going through a hard time at the moment, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and you can get through it. I know that at the time it may not seem like that, but hopefully my story will show that even in your darkest times, you can come back from that. And yeah, stay safe, guys, and thank you for watching.